books.
Who knew,
Yeah.
right? I know.
Well, I won't tell anyone about it.
Yeah, don't.
Okay.
Definitely don't.
Hello and welcome. I'm Richard Metternach, your host for Between Two Ficuses. Today, I'm going to be interviewing Corinne Mathews. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
So, I think our viewers would like to know, what is your role at the college and how long have you been working at STM?
So I haven't been at STM for very long. I've only been here for 3 years, but there are 3 years that I have loved being here and working here. So my role is I work in Shannon Library, and I am in charge of a number of different things in Shannon Library, but one of them is the public services. So I make sure that we have staff who are ready and willing to help all of our students and our faculty, and we make sure that all of our services are ready and available as best we can.
Well, that's very interesting. Thank you. Before COVID, what would a typical workday be like for you?
So in honesty, my workday hasn't changed too much. I come into work and I make sure that the desk assistants are ready and prepared to help students, and we're still doing that, just on a much more limited basis or a little bit differently. Maybe instead of signing out books right at the desk, we're doing some curbside pickups. I'm not doing as many course reserves or that sort of thing, and there's a lot more online, a lot more website management that I'm doing, but on a day-to-day basis, too much hasn't changed. It mostly looks the same, just with fewer people.
Well, I hadn't asked you what had changed. I just asked you what your day was like before COVID. So now, this question's not valid.
Oh.
So how do you feel about following instructions? That doesn't matter. Back to COVID. Which of the stereotypical COVID coping mechanisms did you indulge in? I'll give you some options.
Mm.
Hoarding toilet paper, binge watching Tiger King, making bread. You have a sourdough look about you, I'm gonna say. Picking up a new hobby, playing Animal Crossing, saying, "This is unprecedented," way too many times, and learning a TikTok dance, and cutting your own hair.
Okay.
Well, I guess we can see that's the one.
If we're being honest, my 17-year-old and I definitely learned a bunch of TikTok dances. We watch a few of them and
Wow.
then work on crushing those out. She has like really amazing moves, and I'm just the old lady who's like a step or two behind her trying to follow along, but that's probably mine. My husband hoarded toilet paper. I was very surprised that I didn't ever actually have to buy toilet paper from the months of March until just last week, actually.
Okay, and this TikToking, you posted that on your website?
I sure didn't. No, it is secretly held on my daughter's phone, never to be released or seen by outsider eyes, just the two of us.
Right, because everybody knows that information on a phone is secure.
It is very secure. That is what I would like all students to know. All the information you have on your phone, not going anywhere. It's totally private.
Well, now I'm going to invite you to the bench for very important questions.
Okay.
I have here a couple pictures from your social media feeds. And I'd like you to view them and explain them. We'll show them to the viewers as well.
Okay.
You can enlarge them,
Okay, which one
double
am I
tap
doing
them.
first?
We're going to look at both. What were you thinking?
Okay, so in this first one, do I flip it around and show?
We'll show it on the screen through the magic
Okay.
of editing.
So in this first one, we had a girls' trip to Mexico. It was my mom, my sister, and I. And my sister and I, while we were in Mexico, did the Explore Adventures. And my mom was doing the Explore Adventures as well, but she wasn't nearly as engrossed as my sister and I were. We ran from like set up, and we'd run up as fast as we could and zip down as fast as we could. So yeah, this is a picture of me ziplining in Mexico.
Excellent. And the other photo.
Okay.
Very curious about this.
Okay, so a girlfriend of mine and we went to New York a couple of years ago, and then when we were in New York, we we took a train and we zipped up to Boston for the day. And this lobster has a very important message that I felt at the time, because at the time, of course, cannabis was not legal. And I thought it was important that everybody know and see, just say no to pot, as, you know, Lolly Lobster here is letting you know.
Excellent. Good to know you're a prohibitionist.
Right.
You can come back now. Yes, thank you. A few more questions, because this has been very interesting. Do you have any work projects on the go that our viewers might find interesting?
Well, I mean, librarianship is pretty nerdy, so I don't know how super exciting it all is. We do plan to kind of go through and check to see which books are still relevant and which ones make sense, and get rid of some of those.
So you admit that libraries are no longer relevant in the digital age?
No. Very relevant, but there's information from, 40 years ago or so that is not accurate anymore. Any kind of health information, medical information, that sort of thing, it all changes, and we like to make sure that we keep up with the times. And so we're just, making sure that we're doing all of that.
Okay. I find it strange that a librarian doesn't like books and doesn't think libraries are relevant. So, what were you like in high school?
If you're a librarian or if you are in library work, then, most people find you're kind of like that geeky little nerd, and I feel like that stereotype was probably pretty true. I was in all of my high school plays. I would try out for them, but I'd be like shy and nervous, and so I didn't do a good job while auditioning, so I usually got the back row of the choir, but I still was in those plays, and I still count that. I worked in student leadership and, those types of groups, but, I thought at the time that I was kind of a rebel, but looking back, no, not at all.
And you still have no friends?
Still no friends. Yeah, it's just me plugging along on my own.
All right. Our final question today. What's your piece of positivity for our viewing audience? Leave us with something uplifting, or at least a funny story or anecdote.
Well, a funny story or anecdote. I was busy trying to keep all of my balls in the air, juggling, a number of different things, and so I was just on my way out the door from work, and I was trying to make sure that I was talking to my daughter, and I was getting things ready with my volunteering and finishing up my work. And my coworker, Amanda, was leaving the office while I was talking on the phone with my daughter, and I told Amanda that I loved her on the way out the door, which maybe she wasn't aware that we were there in our relationship. That was gently embarrassing, or uplifting, but I think the best thing that we can take from COVID right now is that it gives us an opportunity to sort of slow down and make sure that we are trying to engage with our family and friends, and really focus on what our priorities should be, and make sure that we're paying attention to those.
Well, that's just great. I'd like to thank our guest today, Corinne Mathews, from the library at St. Thomas More College. I'm Richard Metternach, and you've been Between Two Ficuses. Boy, you really know how to string out a story, don't you?
Sorry, what story?
Well, you just told one.
Okay, good.
Are you having short-term memory loss?
I was like, which story? What are we talking about?
I think you did okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Because I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be on. So then